Hey everybody, Tim back here again with the Nemesis R1 build. Today's goal is getting the pedal box into the car. Didn't realize until the very end of recording everything that my audio wasn't working. So I'm just going to voice over the videos just to give you kind of an idea of what's all going on. We'll jump right into it. Alright, so here I am looking very dapper in my welding jacket. What we have for the car is a tilt-in pedal box. So it's a nice unit, it's got everything all comes with it. So really what we're going to try to do is make sure that we find a way to be able to mount it into the car. So if you take a look at the pedals, we've got all the reservoirs on the back. It's got some nice connectors to go in there. We've got all of our pedals. Everything's all entirely adjustable on this unit, so it's really quite nice. So at the bottom here, we can see that we've got a few different mounting holes. I think there's 4 holes in general. We've got some different screws or bolts that we're going to come through to be able to mount those down onto a frame. And the idea is that we're going to put it on a frame that we can slide around inside of the car back and forth. So we'll be welding in some nuts or just using nuts on the bottom of a frame and making it all work that way. So the actual pedal box itself is going to slide back and forth on some rails. At least that's the goal of what we're going to try to build in this video. And that allows me to give some different adjustment. I'm not a real tall guy, but if someone was tall getting in here, we could always adjust the pedals and move them back because the seat is fixed. So let's get started. Alright, so what we have here now is we've created a little frame rail that we're going to put everything on. This is going to be the mounting surface for the actual pedal box, but as you can see, I've built a couple of different tabs on the ends and drilled some holes into the ends of those. So the idea here is that I'm going to be able to drill some different holes down the side so I can slide this back and forth and use those mounting holes to adjust and hold everything securely in place. So that's kind of the goal here, that we can get about 6 inches or so of play to be able to slide back and forth. So everything that we're going to do is we're going to actually drill some holes down here that are going to be 1 inch on center, and that allows for some adjustability, but ensuring that everything's still going to lock into place. So that's where we're going to head for building and fabricating this. On the other side of things, I'm really going to have to kind of figure out exactly where the pedal box is going to sit inside here. I'm going to weld these 2 slides. You're going to weld into the actual chassis, and that should allow us to slide things the way that we want. Alright, so now we've got the different slide rails on the side all drilled 1 inch on center. You can see I've put some bolts in there, and this is going to give us adjustability to be able to move it back and forth. Now what you'll see as I've done in here is that I've actually put in some washers when I've fastened this. Now the reason why I put some washers in here is to give myself some space. If I was to snug this in tight, welded into the car, then I actually it won't slide and it'll peel the powder coat or everything off of it. So I want to make sure that I got a little bit of space so that everything's actually going to slide properly back and forth. Now, one of the things that I will also need to do in here is I'm going to weld all these different pieces in place, but I also need to eventually figure out kind of the back and forth of where my pedals are actually going to sit on this surface, because I want them to line up properly with my feet on when I'm sitting in the seat. So I'm going to have to get everything in place and then being able to kind of set the pedal box on top and make sure and see where that distance is going to look like back and forth on the car. So if we take a look at the car here, what I did is I took the old aluminum that was underneath, I've pressed it up underneath with a floor jack just to give myself a surface to be able to get in and out and see how my feet are going to sit inside of the car. And that gives me basically a surface that I can work with and put those pedal box or the pedals down in there and see how everything's going to fit. Now here we can see we've actually put the slides in. At the front of the car there's actually a steel plate that was welded in. So what I did is I did a few different lines of weld on the different sides of the slide. I didn't seam weld the whole thing. I didn't think that was necessary. So everything was put in here and secured in. So you can see my different lines of weld on the inside and the outside in there. Then I'll actually pull out that underlying frame and get my pedal box on it. So as you can see here, I've actually marked, I had set the pedal box on and marked where the different pedals are going to sit, so that when I take this back out, I can actually just set it up. As we can see here, we have the finished product in now. So all the pedals are in, they're on their slides and guides to be able to move themselves back. You know, everything on this pedal box is adjustable, so I can move how far out the pedals are to start off with. Everything is all being able to allow me to dial it into my driving style. So sat down in the car, everything feels really good for the distance for the pedals. You know, might do a little bit of adjustments in there yet, but everything feels really nice, fits well, and it's funny, the steering wheel, a seat, pedals, it's starting to come together. And sitting over in those two white boxes are the two radiators, so those will be likely getting installed next. But coming along, today's installation went fairly well. No real big hiccups, a couple little corrections here and there, but other than that, everything went really well with the install. Really happy with it, and I guess that's it for today, and we'll see you again on the next video.